Hey guys, this is going to be the update video for what I have in my tech bag. I do these every year around this time, around May and June, just to kind of give you guys an update on what I've been using. Because, with a lot of tech reviewers, we review a lot of devices, but we don't necessarily use them all. So I just want to tell you guys what I'm currently using. Um, so actually, compared to previous years, I've changed a lot of my devices this year. Just because a lot of them needed upgrading and stuff. So yeah, let's go through the different phones, different laptops, and some headphones and earphones I'm using now. Okay, so those are the different categories. Let's go through them. Okay, so my primary phone, my main phone this year has been the Samsung Galaxy Fold 4, and this has been pretty much a straight upgrade from my previous primary phone, which was the Galaxy Fold 2. Um, so I don't think I need to explain too much why this phone is so unique and special. It's because it's a phone that can become a tablet. It's pretty much the only phone in the market that's like this. Well, the Pixel Fold is out now, but this has pretty much been the only option for this kind of foldable in the US and Canada for a while. Um, just recently, we got the Pixel Fold. But anyways, Fold 4, I felt like the Fold 3, it didn't change too much from the Fold 2, so I didn't actually upgrade to the Fold 3. But the Fold 4, I think, is a substantial upgrade from the Fold 2. That's why I went for it. It was pretty expensive. It was like $1,300. That's actually at a discount from the MSRP. But yeah, this has been my main phone. The tablet feature is actually it's quite useful, I think, because I use it a lot for maps. I use it for photos. I use it for looking at videos, chatting with people. I use it for browsing web pages. So it's very useful actually for doing any of those things. So yeah, I mean, obviously you guys can think about it, right? It's a phone that turns into a tablet, so it's actually quite a bit more useful than most phones. So yeah, I think the thing that makes it a lot better than the Fold 2 though. The Fold 2 didn't have water resistance. The Fold 4 does. So it's a little bit more durable, more reliable, water resistant. Um, that's one thing. Another thing is it's a bit lighter than the Fold 2, and that's one of the main issues I had with the Fold 2 is I felt it was a bit too bulky and heavy when I hold it. Now the Fold 4 is still heavy because it's a phone that turns into a tablet. It's still heavier than most phones, but it is lighter than the Fold 2, noticeably lighter. So that's another thing that the Fold 4 is a huge improvement on. Also the cameras, of course, Fold 4 cameras are better than the ones on the Fold 2. Um, Faster processor, so it's definitely more snappy. But yeah, overall, it's just a straight upgrade from the Fold 2. Like it's faster, water resistant. I think battery life is pretty good in my experience. Better cameras. Yeah, lighter is pretty important for me. So that's one of the main reasons I got it. So the camera upgrade and the fact that it's lighter. So yeah, just pretty much a straight upgrade from my Fold 2 because the Fold 4 is just a better phone. So, why not? It adds some pretty substantial improvements in my opinion. So, anyways, that's my primary phone for this year has been the Samsung Galaxy Fold 4. Okay, so my secondary phone this year has been the Sony Xperia 5 IV. So yeah, I went back to Sony. I actually have been a big Sony fan pretty much for many years now, and ever since I tried the Sony Z3 Compact back in 2014, almost 10 years ago. I realized that their phones are actually quite underrated. Many people don't know about Sony phones because Sony's so terrible at marketing. But Sony phones are actually quite decent. Thing about I like about this phone is Sony has a lot of interesting technologies. I think that they put in their phones that other phones don't like other phone makers don't really care about anymore. For example, they put headphone jack in this phone, right? A lot of phones don't even have that anymore. They put stereo front-facing speakers. They actually leave in I guess the thicker bezels. Some people don't like that, but it does give you room for the front-facing stereo speakers. Pretty good battery life. It's got, almost 2-day battery life, which is what Sony phones have been like in my experience. They usually have pretty good battery life. Micro SD card slot. Some phones don't have that anymore. Sony still keeps that. Um, and like the SIM card tray, even you can access it without having to use a SIM ejector tool. If you would just use your fingernail to pry it open. So, and the fingerprint sensor button, right? That's right on the power button. I think that's the thing that Sony had before Samsung or anyone else. Um, the camera shutter button is something that Sony has. Sony phones have always had that. That's a very unique feature as well. So yeah, pretty much everything about the Sony, and water resistance, of course, is something that Sony phones pioneered as well. Ever since I got the Sony Z3 Compact, all the way, it was 10 years ago, I realized that, yeah, Sony phones are actually quite underrated. A lot of people don't mention them, don't talk about them, but it's actually really good. In 21.9, sorry, OLED display. The aspect ratio is pretty unique to Sony phones as well. So it's a very tall phone, but it's very slim, as you can see, right? It's very light, very slim, and it's I actually get a lot more space when I'm reading stuff, right? Because you get a lot more vertical space. So for reading web pages, like the Xperia is actually a really nice phone for that because it's so tall. You can get like so much out of it when you're reading. So, anyways, the one thing I don't like about this phone, I mean, this is an aspect that Sony has always been poor on, but they've been trying to improve every year, is the camera. So the camera on Sony phones is just okay. It's not Pixel level, not even Samsung level, I don't think. Not iPhone level. So that's the one thing. Is Sony's never really had like a top camera in its phones, which is kind of weird because they make standalone cameras like the Alpha series, which I use. Um, so yeah, it's they got the hardware, right? Everyone uses like Sony camera sensors, but the software, yeah, is something that Sony definitely has not caught up to Google or Apple on yet, or even Samsung. So that's the only one thing. If I, that's one thing that Sony phones have always like never been good is the camera. And I think that's one reason why it might not have as much market share, other than Sony's bad marketing. But yeah, the camera doesn't compete with the top end. But that's fine because I also have my full four for the camera. So yeah, and this just like the full four, it's got the triple lens. So it's got your wide angle, your ultra wide angle, and the telephoto. It just doesn't take as many good pictures in low light compared to my full four. So yeah, in daylight it's fine, but low light, my full four is still better. So yeah. Anyways, other than the camera, which I admit Sony has actually improved on its camera a lot. You can see that they take a lot of stuff from their Alpha series now and put it into their camera app, but it's still not competing with the top flagship cameras or anything like that. So Sony still has some ways to go to improve the camera, even though they have some nice looking apps for it. But other than that, it's a great phone. I have nothing to complain about. Great for reading stuff. Good battery, good display, good speakers. Probably the best speakers I've heard on a smartphone actually. Yeah, headphone jack, micro SD. Can't really complain about it too much. It's really just the camera, and I use my Fold 4 mostly for the camera. So yeah, that's pretty much it for I think the Sony Xperia 5 4 has been my secondary phone, and yeah, I think more people should take a look at Sony. They're really kind of underrated. They're still releasing phones and stuff. A lot of people don't even know about that. So I think they deserve a chance. Also, because they're kind of expensive still, they don't really go on sale. But yeah, I think their phones are pretty decent. Okay. So some of you guys may be wondering, why did you change from the Galaxy Z Flip 3? That was your secondary phone last year. So the Z Flip 3 actually had some issues for me. One thing was the microphone stopped working, which is crazy. I think this is the third Android phone in a row where the microphone had issues. My Google Pixel 4a had issues, then my 4 had issues, and then the Z Flip 3 had issues too. So that's kind of crazy. But anyways, yeah, Z Flip 3 microphone had issues. Um, Battery life, I think, is the main thing. It just did not last very long on battery. Like the Z Flip 3 would be like, I charge it full. I don't even use it that much during the day, and by the end of the day, it's already gone pretty much. So I can't rely on it. Whereas the Xperia, pretty much has 2 day battery life. So it's like night and day difference, right? So the Sony has way better battery life than the Z Flip 3 did. So yeah. Anyways, that's the main reason I upgraded from the Z Flip 3. Okay, so my main portable laptop this year has been the HP Dragonfly Elite G3. This is the third generation of the HP Dragonfly Elite, and it's an upgrade from my old first generation HP Dragonfly Elite. So reason why I got this is pretty simple, actually, as I explained in this video. Um, I actually really like my HP Dragonfly Elite. Even the first generation, I liked it. It's pretty good. The only thing is it had some overheating issues. So it got fixed with warranty once, but then it started happening again. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Like I really like the lightness and the keyboard of the Dragonfly Elite. So those are probably the two things I like the most from it. Display is just okay. Obviously, it doesn't have a lot of graphical power or anything. It has a decent array of ports, which is nice. But yeah, I think the things that make the Dragonfly Elite stand out for me are really the keyboard, which is pretty nice to type on. It's as good as a ThinkPad keyboard, honestly. And I have a ThinkPad, right? It's the keyboard is I've owned lots of ThinkPads in the past, but yeah, the keyboard is just as good as a ThinkPad. Um, it's spill resistant because it's a business laptop. You know, it's military standard tested or whatever. So that's a nice bonus, just like ThinkPads are. And super light, like it's about 2.5 pounds. And the G3 is still around the same weight, I believe. So it's still around like 2.5 pounds. So it keeps around the same weight. The thing I like about G3 is that it's got a 3:2 aspect ratio. So the first generation is a 16:9, which is great for watching movies and stuff. Also, the first generation is convertible. The G3 is not a convertible. But you know, I don't really care too much about that aspect anyways. Never really used the convertible aspect too much of it because it was never wieldy as a tablet. But yeah, 3:2 aspect ratio is really useful because it's a nice balanced aspect ratio you can use to watch media, YouTube videos and movies, but also have more vertical space for reading web pages. So I think the 3:2 aspect ratio is really nice about the G3. Keyboard is just as good as the G1, so you know, no complaints there. It's about the same weight, same thinness, same ports, so nothing to complain about there. I did notice that they improved the speakers a lot. So the speakers on G1 are pretty much trash, but the speakers on G3, which are still Bang & Olufsen, I don't know what they did, but the speakers are like way better on the Dragonfly Elite G3. So definitely they improved the speakers. I don't know how they did it, but the speakers are way better on G3. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, the main issue I had with even the first generation was just the overheating issue, which I don't get with the G3, right? That seems to be like a flaw with my G1 in particular. But yeah, just an all-around great ultra portable laptop because it's so thin, so light. It's got a great keyboard, display's good enough. The fact that the new generation, the new G3, main advantages are the 3:2 aspect ratio and the speakers. Like, yeah, it's just a nice little upgrade for me. So yeah, I with the upgraded G3 with HP Dragonfly Elite as my main portable laptop. I also have to mention the MacBook Air M2 as well. This is kind of not my main portable laptop, but sort of like a secondary portable laptop I use now. It used to be my main portable laptop, but yeah, the MacBook Air M2 is good. It's a nice laptop. It's substantially lighter than the first MacBook Air. It's like 2.7 pounds compared to 3 pounds. So that 0.3 pounds is actually kind of noticeable. So yeah, lighter, keeps the same, you know, it doesn't have that many ports anyways, but same ports and I/O. Yeah, it's smaller, I believe, as well by a little bit. I believe it's a little bit thinner too. Speakers are just as good as the original. Actually, MacBook Pro and MacBook Air have had impressive speakers for the last few generations. Keyboard, of course, is the butterfly switches that the MacBook M1 had. So, you know, way better than the old school butterfly keyboards. So yeah, keyboard on the MacBook Air M2 is pretty good, just like the M1. Of course, it's faster because it has the M2 processor, but main reason why I upgraded to the M2 is because of the 16 gigs of RAM, because I didn't configure my MacBook Air M1 properly. Only give it 8 gigs of RAM, which is really not sufficient if I'm browsing internet and then doing video editing and stuff like that. Really, that's what I mainly use this laptop for, is just video editing. It's good for typing too, but video editing is the main reason I would use it over the HP Dragonfly G3. So yeah, most occasions I would use the HP Dragonfly Elite G3. Just for video editing, YouTube videos and stuff like that, I use the MacBook Air M2, so I had to mention it. Yeah, still pretty good laptop for portable use. All right, so my main gaming computer for the past few years has been my custom Lanley computer build that I made back in 2021. So it's a custom desktop build, as you can see in this video. I'm putting it together, and it's been my main desktop for the past few years, basically ever since I built it. My main desktop and my main gaming computer, so nothing's really changed there. The graphics card's the RTX 2070, which is getting kind of old now, but still runs most games just fine, I think. So most of the gaming videos that you see on my YouTube channel that's PC is basically recorded from the Lanley desktop running it. So yeah, this is still my main gaming computer. It's nothing really changed here. Right, so my main gaming laptop used to be the Alienware M15R5 Ryzen, with the mechanical keyboard, which is amazing, still the best keyboard I've used on a laptop. That I had back in 2021. So I used that for 1.5 years. After that, like roughly like 6 months or so after the warranty period expired, lots of issues with it. I had the battery basically die on me. Basically the first SSD, the main one used for the OS, died. So I had to reinstall the OS SSD. We reinstalled, Windows 11 and everything. And then even after all that, it still crashes under like whenever I'm playing a game. So basically, it seems like the cooling isn't working properly or something. So, anyways, I had enough of that computer. It's got too many issues now. So, unfortunately, I like the Alienware M15 design and I love the mechanical keyboard, but too many issues now. So I placed it this year with the Asus ROG Strix G15, which I did in this video as kind of a comparison with the Zephyrus, but ended up choosing the Strix because it's a little bit heavier than the Zephyrus, but a little bit more powerful, I think. And because actually in the video I even did the comparison, the Zephyrus is the performance is limited, right, because of how thin it is. So it's being limited. The Strix is not. The Strix with the 3050 Ti is outperforming the 3060 on the Zephyrus. So the bigger chassis of the Strix is giving it better performance advantage. So one reason why I choose the Strix. The thing I didn't like about Strix in this video is the speakers, but I fixed that by changing the Dolby Atmos settings in the computer settings. So the speakers are normal again. I just had to change how the Dolby Atmos was being done. It was like music mode for some reason wasn't good. I changed it to dynamic mode and it fixed the speaker issue. The speakers was like a little bit too soft before, which I didn't like. Now it's like more normally at the proper volume. Keyboard's pretty good on this computer. Not as good as on my Alienware, but it's pretty good for what it is. Decent keyboards, I think. Display's also pretty good. It's a 144 Hz display. My Alienware is 165, so not too much difference there. But yeah, pretty much just a replacement for my Alienware because my Alienware died on me, so I don't really have a gaming laptop after that, right? So this has pretty much been my main gaming laptop since. It's the ROG Strix G15. Okay, so my main over-ear headphones finally changed. I think ever since my first tech bag video, it was the Sony 1000 XM3s. Finally changed it to the Bowers & Wilkins PX7S2s. So yeah, the reason I changed was because finally I decided to upgrade from the 1000 XM3s. I've been using it for like almost 4 years. I gave it away to my brother actually. But now I did a comparison video for basically all these wireless noise canceling headphones on the market, right? The Sennheiser Momentum 4s, the Bowers & Wilkins, some Bang & Olufsen stuff, and the new Sony's, the Sony 1000 XM5s, as well as the Bose. And I compared all of them, and the Bowers & Wilkins came out on top. For me, design looks amazing, first of all. It just stands out, especially this blue and gold design. It just stands out, right? It looks amazing for me. I love blue and gold. And the sound is pretty good. I mean, I compared it in my video. I think the only one that could rival it in sound quality is the Sennheiser Momentum 4s, but yeah, the Bowers & Wilkins beat the Sennheisers on the noise canceling performance. So yeah, I ended up choosing the Bowers & Wilkins. It's a little bit more expensive than the Sennheisers, but for me, the sound quality is just as good as the Sennheisers, but it's got better noise canceling, and I like the design better than the Sennheisers as well. So yeah, that's why I ended up choosing the Bowers & Wilkins PX7S2. The new Sonys, the 1000 XM5s, I thought I would like them, but okay, so the Sony 1000 XM5s do have amazing noise canceling. That's like, it's pretty much, well, this and the Bose. The Sony and Bose are pretty much ahead of everything else in terms of noise canceling, but sound quality didn't get me. After I listened to all these different headphones, reviewing headphones on my channel, I don't think I can go back to just normal Sony wireless anymore. So this is too much bloated bass on it. Same thing with Bose. I can't go back to Bose or Sony anymore because the bass just seems way too bloated on those headphones. Like too mainstream, right? The mainstream headphones tend to push up the bass way too much. So yeah, that's why I went with the Bowers & Wilkins PX7S2. Looks great, sounds great, it's got great noise canceling, and decent battery life, I think, as well. The feature set's okay as well. So yeah, pretty much that's why I went with these. Okay. So my main wireless earbuds is the Master Dynamic MW08s, and these I actually did in a comparison video against a bunch of other wireless earbuds. These still came out on top overall because first, like, they look pretty good. The design is pretty good. I like the fact that they use, I think it's ceramic on the earbuds, so it does feel really nice and looks pretty nice. The sound is pretty good. It's I like it. It's very dynamic yet still balanced sounding. And compared to the other wireless earbuds I've tried, the only one that would probably rival it is the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 3s. Yeah, that's about it. Sound quality is pretty good on these. Noise canceling is okay. It's not the best, but it's good enough for me. So probably a step below the Sennheiser True Momentum True Wireless 3s, but you're definitely below the Sony 1000XM4s. In this video, I'm comparing to 1000XM3s, which are my old wireless earbuds, but 1000XM4s definitely have better noise canceling. But the sound signature, I prefer the Master and Dynamics more. Overall, I think for the design, the sound quality, and noise canceling is alright, and the feature set's alright. So I think overall, I still prefer the Master Dynamic. I also like the fact that it's physical volume buttons, not the touch ones. I don't like the touch volume buttons. It's a little bit finicky, especially on small wireless earbuds. Always found them to be really finicky. But the Master Dynamic have physical volume buttons and stuff, so that's pretty nice as well. So anyways, that's my main wireless earbuds. I end up going just for the Master Dynamic MW08s, compared it against a bunch of other ones, and these ones still, overall to me, were still the best. All right, so lastly, my IEMs are still the TA Audio Monarch Mark IIs that I had last year, and it's not really changed since. I haven't felt a need to look for another one, because these ones to me are pretty much not perfect, but it's good enough. And yeah, for me, it's good enough. I don't feel a need to upgrade it or anything like that. So they're not cheap. They were $1,000, but I went all the way up to the Noble Cons before, which were 1,700 or something crazy like that. Anyways, I blew too much money on IEMs. Decided to settle at $1,000. Still pretty expensive, but these are pretty much going to be my main IEMs for a very long time. Don't feel the need to upgrade these for a while. The sound is just very balanced. I have nothing complaints about that. It's just fairly balanced. Not completely flat or neutral, but you know, it's pretty much there. It's doesn't have any emphasis of any frequency that's too overblown or anything. It's just right. It's very detailed. The sound stage is pretty decent. So yeah, really don't have much to complain about these. I think TA Audio really hit it out of the park with the Monarch Mark IIs. If you don't believe me, check Krennakel. You know, the guy who's everyone looks for him for the IEM headphone graphs and charts and everything like that. Anyways, on his ranking list of like different IEM tiers or whatever, that he gives them different grades, the TA Audio Monarch Mark IIs are very, very top of that chart, like S++ basically. So anyways, Krennakel agrees with me. These are really nice IEMs. So don't really feel the need to upgrade these. So yeah, it's still the TA Audio Monarch IIs. Very nice. Guys, so that's it. That's been what's in my tech bag for this year. Pretty much everything except for my desktop PC has changed because some things have just gotten old. I figure it's time to finally upgrade it, like my HP Dragonfly Elite, and my Sony headphones. I finally decided to upgrade those. So yeah, pretty much everything got a revamp. Well, actually, my TA Audio IEMs as well. Those are pretty much the same as last year, but everything else pretty much got an upgrade. My Galaxy Fold 2, you know, upgraded to Fold 4. Upgraded my Dragonfly Elite. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it for what I've been using this year. Like I said, I do a lot of tech reviews, but these are the ones I'm actually using day to day. So just to tell you guys what I'm using day to day, I reviewed all this stuff, but these are the ones I'm actually, you know, using mostly. So let me know if you guys have any questions or comments, and as always, thanks for watching.